Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got a classic from one of my favorite bands, Def Leppard. We're going to learn how to do Too Late for Love today. So this is a pretty stripped down Def Leppard song. There's a couple of intricate riffs going on and a really cool solo by Steve Clark. But altogether, the guitar parts aren't these big layered things that they usually would do in their career during their career, and it's pretty simplified. So it's a pretty approachable song by most players, I think. So hopefully you'll dig into it with me here. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so you know when I release a new video. And you can leave comments and like the video and stuff. That helps me out. And if you really want to help out what I do here on YouTube with all these song lessons every week, a few lessons a week, I guess, join my academy. That's a great way to support what I do here. Now, my academy actually contains all of my guitar courses. So in addition to helping me here with what I do on YouTube, you get access to all of my guitar courses covering everything from complete beginner stuff to more advanced courses in improvisation and ear training and theory and technique and guitar tone. You name it, it's all there. So please go check that out. And you'll get a free 7-day trial by just clicking that link below. So let's dive into the song. I'm in standard tuning here, so nothing tricky there. And we have this main riff, which kind of that intros the song that really acts as the verse throughout the song. And during the verse sections, there'll show some fills in the lick as well. So let's just cover the actual riff first. Looks like this. So what you're gonna do, kind of a clean tone with a little bit of gain, just a slight little bit of dirt on it. And I got a little bit of chorus on there as well, and a little reverb. So we basically have just an E power chord, so the open E string and the second fret on the A. So put that together, let that ring. Then you're gonna start this little riff. You're gonna slide into the third fret on the A, and then play the second fret on the D, and let them ring together. Now, while you're doing that, let that low E string continue to ring. Like that. So you still hear that low E ringing. Now we're gonna take the same shape, but you're gonna slide up to the 5th fret on the A, and then play the 4th fret on the D. So we have this. Still letting that E ring out as long as it wants. And then you're gonna slide into this again, the 5th fret again on the A string, and then this time after it, you're gonna play the 5th fret on the D with it, letting them ring together, and then go back to the 5th fret on the A string. You don't have to slide into it this time, and go back down to 4 on the D. So it's like this. So far we have this. Pretty simple. Then we're going to do is take this same shape and move it back down to the 3rd fret here for on the A string. So 3rd fret on the A, and then to that 2nd fret on the D again, and then back to the 3rd fret on the A, and then end it with the E power chord again that you started with. So we have. So all together we have this. Not the happiest riff in the world, but it sounds really cool anyway. So we do that riff one time, and then the vocals come in. And now when the vocals come in, now we're in the verse. The verse is pretty much that same riff repeated, and there's a little fill thrown in between the repeats. So for this first verse, it looks like this. All right, and then we kind of have a version of the chorus, which is pretty much just the same riff here. That's the only time they play the chorus like that, though. But before we get to that, let's take a look at these fills. So after you play the riff, after the vocals come in, just play through the riff one time. And then we have this first fill. That is the open D string, and then you're going to hammer on the 2nd fret. Now keep holding that, hit the open G string, and then the 3rd fret on the B. So just let everything ring there. It's a really cool sound. All right, then you just play the riff again, same way we did in the intro. And now we have another fill there. After you've played that E5, you're gonna jump up here and grab the 12th fret on the G string and the 15th fret on the B string. It's basically a kind of a higher voiced G power chord is all it is. So those two notes together, you're gonna hit it 1, 2, 1, 2. It's like a down up on just those two notes. All right, kind of real staccato. As soon as you play it, kill it. All right, so that's it. So as soon as basically the verse is that progression played twice, that riff played twice with those two fills. That first fill after the first time through, and then this second fill after the second time through. And then what you're gonna basically do is you're gonna do this same exact riff 2 more times, but it's really the first chorus. And there is a fill there. So really the first chorus, but this is played differently than all the other choruses. Looks like this. So it's the same riff. Just want to start going too late. You're gonna jump up here now. This fill in the chorus, it's just going up to those double stops here. The 12th fret on the the G string and the B string. Now you get a little vibrato on them, and then back to the riff again. And now the second time I'm playing the riff through the chorus, you just end it with that E5 power chord and just let it. Ring. You don't have any kind of fills there. It's like they start increasing the distortion there. They start bringing it in, fading it in. And then we get to verse number 2, which is different now. So now we're going to play the verse with kind of a more distorted tone. So I'm going to switch over to some higher gain setting. And then we're going to just play, it's a pretty simplified version of it. It looks like this. All right, so it's a lot easier version of it. So it's just that verse right here is an E power chord, and that 3rd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D, just instead of arpeggiating, play them together just as just play that interval together, a major 3rd interval, and then, so we have this, play that there, then move it up 2 frets. Then from there, just add now the 5th fret on the D string with that 5th fret on the A. So it's the same shapes that we did before. And then back down to that 4th fret on the D, keeping that 5th fret on the A string. And then back down to the previous chord. And then that E power chord again. So it's just basically a very heavy version of the verse. Which you've already covered these fills. No fills. Just repeat it again. All right, and then we get to the second chorus. Now, once again, the second chorus is different than that first chorus where we were pretty much playing that intro riff. Second chorus is very similar to the verse we just did, except now you're gonna hit each chord twice instead of once. So we have this. All right, And that takes us to that first little interlude section. So this, pretty easy. Same exact chords we did in the verse, just hit each one twice. So, but in that, the timing of the first two is like, it kind of goes with it, too late, on the E5 power chord. And then everything else is 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's just the timing of the first hits are a little bit slower. All right, now after you hit that, if you've played it 2 times now, we're getting ready to transition to the next riff. And before they do that, they grab a C power chord here. Just 3rd fret of the A string, 5th fret of the D and the G. You might just get away with it, just the 5th fret of the D and the G, if you want. Or play the full chord. And that takes us to this interlude section, where we use it kind of intervals kind of against an A pedal. So it sounds like this. So it comes in from the C chord, I'm sorry. All right, so that takes us into the solo. So now what this section is, it's just a series of kind of intervals or double stops played on the D and the G string. And kind of an A pedal kind of hitting 2 hits on the A muted A string each time in between each one. So you start reverse with this A, hit 3 times, 1, 1, 2, just a downstrokes, just with those muted A string. And then the first interval we're going to play is a 10th fret on the D string, 9th fret on the G. And I'll show you the next intervals first before we get to the actual rhythm. And then we go 9th fret on the D, 7th on the G, and then move that down 2 frets. So it's going to be 7th fret on the D, 5th fret on the G. So we start with this 1, 1, 2, and then you go do that first interval, and then you go back and just hit 1, 2 now on the A string between each chord. Try this. All right, so let's continue with the rest of the chords. Same rhythm happens with that A string in between each one. That is going to be the 3rd fret on the D and 2nd fret on the G. And then you're going to keep this note on the 3rd fret on the D the whole time here for these 3 chords. So we have this. It's going to change the note on the G string from that 2nd fret there for the first chord. Now move it to the 4th fret on the G string for this chord. Still got that 3rd fret on the D, and then up to the 5th fret on the G. Still got the 3rd fret on the D, and then you're going to end it with the 5th fret on the D and the G together, just like C power chord that came in with it. So we have this, and you still have this. So I got that kind of A going in between it. So we have this. Repeat. All right, so that's it for the that interlude section. We're going to see that a little bit later too, and it'll be the same thing, so nothing new to learn there. So what we have now is Steve Clark's. This is the main solo of the song. This is played by Steve Clark, the late great Steve Clark. Now this is over the chorus. So that's what's going on underneath this solo. So let me play through the solo real quick for you, and then I'll show you how to play it phrase by phrase. Here we go. All right, so we're starting here with this first phrase. So this is going to start out with a unison bend. Now this is going to be the 12th fret on the B string. And what you're going to do with that is you're going to play the 14th fret on the G, and you're going to bend that up a whole step so it matches the note that you're playing on the B string. And that's why they call it a unison bend. You bring the two notes into unison. So we have this. So it kind of creates a bigger sound than just going. All right, so we have this. So you do that a couple times. And then you do the bend on the G string again, the 14th fret. And this time grab the, you might notice it like it's doing on my guitar. Kind of, if you got a floating system like this, it might pull that note on the B string slightly out of tune like it just did on mine. So what I did there is I did those unison bends a couple times, and then I just did the bend on the G string by itself, and grabbed, when I got to the top of that bend, I grabbed the 15th fret there on the B. And then into another bend at that 14th fret on the G string, release that bend out, and then hammer on 12 to 14, and then pick that note again. So slow, we have this. So that's the first phrase. The second phrase looks like this. All right, so that's going to be 11 on the G string, 12, slide into 14, then back down to 12, then do a quick little hammer from 11 to 12, pull back off to 11. Then resolve it over to the 12th fret there on the G string. Then you're gonna jump down here and go. So that's gonna hammer open D string, hammer 2. And then the same thing on the G. Play the G string and then hammer on 2. But when you do that, you're gonna bend it up a whole step and then grab, like just like an octave lower than we did here, this bend. You're gonna grab that 3rd fret there on the B. And then pick that note again, release, pull off to the open G, and resolve it there to the that E note there, the 2nd fret on the D string. So we have this. So all together, this whole phrase. One more time. All right, from there we have this. So that's going to be some double stops here at the 12th fret on the D and the, I'm sorry, why I keep calling it the D string? G string and the B string. So you play those two notes together just a couple times. Then down to the 14th fret on the D. And then back to the double stop there one time, and then back to that 14th fret on the D. You can do some kind of slightly bend that last one down, as you usually do when you do those double stops. All right, and then we have this, which is sliding into the 12th fret there on the G string, playing the 15th fret on the B, and then play 12 on the B, and 14 on the high E. All right, next phrase. So that's going to be 12th fret on the B string up to 15, 12, 15, and then bend up that 15. and then play 15, 12 on the B. So just kind of reverse it. Over to the 14th fret on the G string. And then those double stops again on the 12th fret of the G and the B. Then resolve that to the 14th fret on the D string real quick. So that looks like this. And then you're going to end the solo with this last lick. So that's just hammering on 12 to 14 on the D and the G. Bend up, grab that 15th fret on the B again. And then do a bend at the 14th fret on the G again. Release. Then you do a couple pull-offs. So 14 to 12, hammer back on, pull back off to 12, and resolve it to 14 on the D. And that is it for the solo. So it's not a very crazy, wild, difficult solo, but it's really melodic, really suits the music, the kind of dark, ominous riff that's going on underneath it. All right, so now out of that solo, we get back to the clean verse, so the clean version of that we started with. Then back to the chorus. So basically it's the same riff played twice, but the fills are different. So this first fill, after the first time playing through, we have this first fill, which is, this is still very similar to the first verse. But what you're gonna do here is you're gonna hammer on the open A string, play the open A, hammer on 2. Then as you're holding that, play the open D, open G. And then play the riff again now. So this is the second time playing through the verse riff, and this is basically in the last verse. And we have this fill right here that is. So what's going on there? We have 12th fret on the B and the G, and then 14th fret on the D. And you can do a quick little down up on those, and then kill it. Sorry, like that, and then you're gonna do a down up muted strum. So we have this. And then you're gonna do a quick hammer on from 5 to 7 on the A. So we have this. And then we're back to the distortion with the chorus riff. Same chorus riff as the second chorus where you're using the big distortion sound, you're hitting each chord twice. Same thing, nothing new here. And then that C chord that ended, the C power chord, and then to the same interlude we did before. So it's that same transition to the interlude. Nothing changes here. And then we get to this bridge section, which is another kind of little instrumental thing, really. Looks like this. Then back to the outro chorus. So that right there is just that E power chord to start it. All right, now from there we have this. That's going to be 14 on the G. That's 14. My head's not in it today. 4 on the G. Then 5-4 on the D. And then pick that 4 again and do a half step bend release. then over to the 5th fret on the A string. So we have this. Then we have this. So that's going to be 0 to 3 on the A. When you get that 3, you hit the full C power chord there with the 3rd fret on the A, 5th fret on the D. Then we have this, which is the 5th fret on the D, 5th fret on the A, then 4th fret on the D, half step bend and release, and then grab that B power chord, and then hit that B power chord again. Now, obviously, you got basically one of the guitarists that's doing that, and then the other one's just kind of going. You know, just kind of just with E and C and then the B power chord. So, and then you got the other one doing the melody. I'm just kind of putting them together there, just to kind of quick, but it's easy to kind of just determine, just if you just want to hit those power chords without the little melodic lines, if you want to split up the parts. But we have this. I mean, I think one of the guitar players, even the guy doing the line, is still doing the hits. So you just have another guy just doing the hits by themselves. So we have this. And then repeat. So we have this. With that B power chord, then go back to the E. Then same riff. Except now, when you get up to the C power chord, it's not anymore. It's just a quick. So we have this. It's going to be the. So this, when you get to the C chord, you're going to play. Just jump right to that 4th fret on the D, half step, bend and release, and then play 3 on the A, slide down to 2, and then play 4 on the D, and then hit the chord again, and we'll slide it down. Kind of hit the chord as a full chord now. So we have this. Then it starts, it acts like it's going to start the whole thing over again. Except now, when you get to that C chord, there's now a different ending. So every time you get to the C chord, it kind of has a different thing after it. But the chords, some of it are the same leading up to it. We have this. So that kind of starts with the 4th fret on the D, 7th fret on the G, and then slide that up to the 5th fret on the D, hit that 7 on the G, and then now slide this up, 5th note on the D string, slide over to 7, and then play the 9th fret on the G. And then what you're going to do is the other guitarist is playing now the B power chord down here up the 7th fret of the low E string, while we got whichever ones, I'm not sure, just doing the high part here. But the one doing the high part is doing that lick. You move that from the 7 to 9 to now 9 and 11 on the C. So you can kind of put that together. You can just go kind of grab that low note, that low B while you're playing these. That's what I did in the example. Slide down, and you hit that E power chord. And then you come back up and hit the B power chord again. And then it's really kind of a muted hit, but it sounds more just like hit the open E strings again, E again. And then we go to those power chords that end this section, which is the C power chord off the A string, the 3rd fret off the A string. The G power chord, it's the 3rd fret off the low E. And then that exact same thing 2 frets higher now, so that now D power chord to the A power chord. So all together for that bridge section. then we're to the outro chorus, which is that same portion. Now we do have an outro solo. I don't typically do outro solos when they have kind of the vocals are just kind of going on over. It's kind of hard to pick up, and it's just they kind of wander a little bit anyway. So to do your own thing there, all he's using is E minor pentatonic there. So just over there, just like we're doing. So just kind of take that on yourself. Kind of maybe you want to move it around and play some straight E minor scale. So you're just kind of doing that over the E minor pentatonic over that, or E minor scale, E natural minor. It'll all sound good. So hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a great song, early kind of Def Leppard track, but it's pretty approachable from a lot of guitar players. It doesn't have these crazy fast solos or tons of intricate guitar layers like a lot of their stuff does. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.